Hello, my name is Stephen Avino, and I am the Executive Director of the Parliament of the World's Religions, and I want to extend my welcome and gratitude to you for joining us today for the launch of It's Time to Talk, an initiative of the Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue at the Parliament. I have had the pleasure of working with the coordinators of the Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue and watched this inspiring initiative of the Parliament's Climate Action Task Force grow into this very needed call to action of two faiths with so much in common and who can work together so well on this urgent issue. I would now like to turn over this program to our moderator, Reverend Hokyo Enso Chuck Hutchcraft. Reverend Hutchcraft serves as a coordinator of the Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue at the Parliament of the World's Religions and is a priest and teacher in the Soto Zen tradition and a licensed clinical social worker. On to you, Reverend Hutchcraft.
Good morning. Thank you and welcome. So I would like to ask two of my fellow co-coordinators on the steering committee to lead us in prayer. We'll start with Venerable and then Father Alexei.
Good morning, everyone. So glad everyone could join us this morning. I will be offering a prayer that's been written by our founder of Shilai Temple, Venerable Master Shingyun, and his prayer for our natural environment. Start now. O great compassionate Buddha, we would like to tell you of an unjust situation on our mind. The world that we live in has been ruined and fallen ill. Flowers are no longer emitting fragrance. Birds are no longer singing. The green mountains are no longer smiling, and the flowing water is no longer crystal clear. Please look, the once crystal clear lake have now been polluted everywhere, and the once sleeping marine species can now no longer move freely. Our natural resources has been decreasing sharply day by day. How will future generations survive? The air that we breathe is no longer clean. Our health has been threatened. O great compassionate Buddha, please let us and our future generations be able to play with fireflies under the radiance of star-brimmed skies, be able to sing and dance with great nature on the shores of an emerald sea, be able to enjoy fresh air in the thick forests of towering trees, and be able to grow together with all things under the sun, on a field that extends out far beyond the horizon. O great compassionate Buddha, we can no longer allow mountains and rivers to be tainted. We can no longer allow the earth to weep. We can no longer allow living beings to be frightened. We can no longer allow the air to be polluted. We must strive to let mountains and rivers be splendorous and green again. We must strive to let the beauty of the earth reappear again. We must strive to restore fragrance, fresh air. We must strive to let nature become a solemn, pure land again. O great compassionate Buddha, please accept our heartfelt prayer. O great compassionate Buddha, please accept our heartfelt prayer. Namo Amida.
I would like to share with you the prayer with which Pope Francis concludes his remarkable encyclical Laudato Si. Coincidentally, it just happens that today marks the anniversary of the promulgation of that great encyclical. All-powerful God, you are present in the whole universe and in the smallest of your creatures. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour out upon us the power of your love, that we may protect life and beauty. Fill us with peace, that we may live as brothers and sisters, harming no one. O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth, so precious in your eyes. Bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Touch the hearts of those who look only for gain at the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, to recognize that we are profoundly united with every creature as we journey towards your infinite light. We thank you for being with us each day. Encourage us, we pray, in our struggle for justice, love, and peace. Amen.
And now we would like to show you the world premiere, if you will, of It's Time to Talk.
So, have you been here before?
No, this is the first time.
This is a famous Jewish deli. Food is absolutely excellent here. I think this environment, Cantor's, the Jewish deli, shows the interreligious aspect of our whole endeavor here.
It's so wonderful. It really reflects the culture in LA.
Of LA, absolutely right.
And we're very excited to collaborate with different religions, especially Catholicism.
Where we pledged together here in Los Angeles that Buddhists and Catholics would work together to do something about climate change.
Because we're living in this world, it's just not just with the human beings, of course, with other creatures, with the plants.
It dawned on me one day that nature is speaking to us again here. And we've got to do something to help it.
Right.
And we can do that together.
Different religions can work together to
absolutely.
Inspire people to work just for the common world, the world that we all live in.
I think we need to spur our people on more, though, when it comes to being compassionate for nature. You know, I think I've mentioned to you before a man by the name of Sujet, who was, I believe, the father of Gothic architecture in the Catholic big cathedrals and things. But he made a remarkable statement that men and women can be led into contemplation of the divine through the senses. And when we apply that to nature, I think that's very true.
Sometimes we say the early monks, the ancient monks are early environmentalists.
Yes.
Because of their planting trees
Yes.
around the temples, cultivating the barren lands.
You know, in the Catholic tradition, the scriptures teach us that nature communicates with us. Not simply the beauty of creation, but from our perspective, God who created it.
Right. Similarly, in Buddhist practices, when we are protecting the world, protecting the environment, and we are actually also cultivating the beauty of the mind.
So by encountering nature, by preserving nature, by cultivating nature, by appreciating nature, we are led to contemplation of the divine.
Right.
We're led into the divine presence in a real sense.
When we are speaking of protecting the world, preserving the environment, where do we start? We need to take actions on this.
I think it's important that people see us. The visual is very important. People dress very differently, working on this issue. And that might inspire other members of our Catholic faith, some of whom are a little bit reluctant to get involved in this. It might actually spur them on to say, wait, there's something here. Let's look at this and let's get involved here.
And humankind, it's really about, if we want to do something, it's about our behavior. It's about our actions.
The Bible tells us that we are stewards of creation, but Christians are not the only stewards. Buddhists are stewards, Jews are stewards, Muslims are stewards, everyone's stewards.
Every time when I talk to you, I learn a lot from you. And it's not just about the knowledge of your religion, knowledge about your religion. It's about your wisdom, your compassion, your love to your people, to the world.
I think what I really have learned from all this is the willingness of our Buddhist counterparts to be involved in this and to be involved in it with us.
And this is not just important for the religions, but it's for humankind.
Please join our dialogue.
Now more than ever, it's time to talk.
Before we go any further, I would invite my fellow steering committee members to introduce themselves. We meet every week, and it's been a rich and rewarding process.
Well, my name is Michael Terrian, and it's a blessing to be with everyone today on the 7th anniversary of Laudato Si. I'm an oblate of St. Benedict, and it's a joy to be on this journey with all of you.
I'm Father Alexei. I'm the Ecumenical and Interreligious Officer for the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Los Angeles. I'm delighted to be part of this project, and I invite you to join us here.
I am Venerable Huizi from Xilai Temple. We are belonging to the Buddhist Order of Fo Guangshan from Taiwan, and our temple is situated here in Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Daniel Feetsum. I am honored to be a part of the Buddhist-Catholic Steering Committee, and I am a practicing Buddhist.
Miriam, could you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Miriam Quesada, and I work with the Parliament of the World's Religions. And it's been my incredible pleasure, both as a Catholic, but just as an individual, to work with this group and really see this project grow. So I'm very excited to see us move forward.
Thank you. So the Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue on climate change came about because there was a sense that amidst all the discussion and debate about the climate crisis, the ever more dire warnings, and the mounting evidence that there was something missing. Yet another voice, one that desperately needed to be heard. Actually, it was out there. We've been hearing this voice, the voice of Greta Thunberg, the voice of St. Francis, Laudato Si, but we need more of it. The voice that would call us to spiritual conversion, a voice that would call us to realize our deep humanness, and from it address the suffering we humans have brought on the earth and all who inhabit it. That voice is our prophetic voice. So the question is, how do we go about realizing that voice? The answer, we talk. And it's time that we do so. We're running out of time. And there is this sense that we Buddhists and Catholics can inspire ourselves and the rest of the world to that prophetic voice, loud and clear. Buddhists and Catholics in dialogue with Buddhists and Catholics, Buddhists with other Buddhists in their sanghas, Catholics with their brothers and sisters in their parishes, Buddhist or Catholic with a friend in a deli, with whomever will listen in solidarity, committed to helping each other realize their prophetic voice. From Gandhi, we hear the prophetic voice is speaking truth to power. That prophetic voice speaking truth to power has its own power. Gandhi and the people of India realized that prophetic voice to break the shackles of colonialism. The prophetic voice is within each of us. The prophetic voice that clearly sees the deeply rooted systemic issues, the greed, the hatred, the delusion that are destroying the planet, that are wiping out species in the blink of an eye. The prophetic voice that calls us to task. The task of calling those in power to task, to hold them responsible, to hold them to the task of radical change. And then there's a task of not only investigating our own delusions and our own roles in this madness, but also the task of coming together to realize our own prophetic voice, to break the shackles of fear and hopelessness, to realize that voice in the world. And that's what we want to talk about. How we can come together to realize our prophetic voice, to speak and to act from the powers of our hearts. It's Time to Talk invites Buddhists and Catholics into dialogue, into a dialogue process of deep listening and sharing, to explore what it is of these true traditions that compels us to confront the climate crisis, to help each other realize our prophetic voice, and from there continue that process out into the world, into our parishes, our sanghas, and beyond. There are two aspects to It's Time to Talk. The first is a social media campaign that reaches out and inspires. Inspires Buddhists and Catholics to join the second aspect, which is an ongoing dialogue to realize, to manifest the prophetic voice of these traditions from which comes the courage to act. We invite you to create your own videos to be added to It's Time to Talk social media campaign. In creating the videos, we ask that you speak to your sense of what it is about your tradition that compels you to act to confront the climate crisis. And then extend an invitation for others to create their videos. Don't hesitate. Let your creative spirit soar. Let's discover the myriad expressions of the prophetic voice through poetry, music, song, and dance, art, whatever it might be. If you are a Buddhist, you're welcome to invite a Catholic you might know to join you. If you're a Catholic, invite a Buddhist to join you in a video. Or it could be a Buddhist with a Buddhist, or a Catholic with a Catholic. Or a Buddhist or a Catholic with whomever. Or it could be just yourself speaking. Soon after this webinar, you will receive an invitation to join an ongoing dialogue via Zoom that will entail engaging in deep sharing and listening, and encouraging each other towards realizing our prophetic voice. You are welcome to share this invitation with others. It is our intent and our sense that this be an ever-evolving dialogue, a discovering, a nurturing our prophetic voice. The voice that sees the scope and depth of the systemic issues that are destroying life on this planet, and that challenges our limited views of ourselves and our abilities to speak out and confront them. So now I would invite Miriam to walk us through how we can engage in this process, share our videos, and become part of the dialogue. Miriam?
Thank you, Chuck. So as Chuck mentioned, this is really a user-driven, a community-driven initiative. And part of that is we just want you to join the conversation. So on our Parliament website, and I'll be sure to share the link with you shortly in the chat as well, we have a landing page that allows you to join our monthly dialogues, and you can do that by signing up for our mailing list. This is a Buddhist-Catholic mailing list, so you'll only receive updates on the dialogues, but we also, of course, encourage you to sign up for the Parliament newsletter if you have not already done so. You can like us on Facebook. There's a dedicated page for the initiative, which will be sharing videos that are either shared with us, are produced by us, or that are part of the ongoing It's Time to Talk conversation. And of course, if you're on social media, or if you just want to kind of learn more about the community, you can engage with the hashtags It's Time to Talk and Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue. These are really what will be driving the social media presence of this initiative. If you are interested in joining the conversation by recording your own video, you can share a downloadable link to an MP4 file or a movie file with our team at Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue at parliamentofreligions.org, and we will publish it and we will disseminate it across our platforms, again, using those hashtags. But if you prefer to share it with your own personal social media channels, or if you want to participate and partner with an organization and share that on your social media channels, if you simply use the hashtags It's Time to Talk and Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue, again, we and anyone who's interested in this dialogue and in this conversation will be able to join and experience what you're sharing. And then I'd like to share a very brief overview, I won't take up too much time, of our landing page, which is, again, really what will serve as the primary resource of this initiative. And this can be found in the Parliament website. It basically does a broad overview of what this initiative means, how it came about, who we are, what we do, how we do it, why we do it. You'll find details specifically about the Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue initiative of It's Time to Talk, both the recording of the video that we shared today, but also how you can get involved. So how you can host a conversation, how you can share on social media and things like that. And then, of course, like I said, this will be the main landing page for this initiative. So any upcoming events will be listed here. You'll be able to register here. You'll be able to find the link to our mailing list here. And then, of course, you'll be able to like us on Facebook directly from this landing page. And at the end here, you'll find that we'll be adding the resources that come from the community. So any videos, any resources, any latest news that are related to this initiative will be shared here and will be centralized for your use, but also to make sure that we know really what this dialogue is evolving into.
Thank you, Miriam. So I would like to close with a story about Eihei Dogen, a 13th century Zen master in Japan. At one point, Dogen, when he was very young, went back to China, and he hadn't been there very long before he encountered a tenzo at a Chan temple. A tenzo in a Chan or Zen temple is the head cook. And this tenzo was out drying mushrooms in the hot sun. And this tenzo was no spring chicken. He was older, and it was obviously hard work for him. And so Dogen said to him, he says, "You got all these younger monks. Why don't you let them do this hard work?" And the tenzo said, his answer rings down to us today. He said, "If not me, who? If not now, when?" So if not us, who? Who's going to raise this voice? Who's going to find it? Who's going to bring it out into the world? We working together, helping each other in this space of love and compassion. And if not now, when? It's time to talk, folks. It's really time. Thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to engaging with you in this process. Thank you very much.
Hi, Chuck. It looks like there's a question. Do you want to explore some of that?
Sure. Okay.
So should I just...
If you want to read it out to me and we can answer it.
Yeah. So it's written by Madonna Thalen. To the Catholics, how do you counter the Catholic voice from leaders who denounce Pope Francis for writing Laudato Si? So I go through that again. To the Catholics, how do you counter the Catholic voice from leaders who denounce Pope Francis for writing Laudato Si? That's the first question. And the second question is, to all, where is the voice of women in this dialogue? So I think we're waiting for your voice. Yeah, it's not us, then who?
Would someone care from the Catholic friends to respond to the first question?
Michael?
Well, I'm happy to have a conversation about this, and I don't pretend that this is the only answer in any way, or that it's even the correct answer. But one question that always comes to mind is, where is that question coming from? And have an open heart and an open mind, and to listen to what's behind the question. And to find out what is important to the person who's asking the question. And then to have a conversation about what that is that we have in common in our faith, in our tradition. And fundamentally, our God is a God of love. And the very core of our tradition calls us to love God and to love our neighbor and to do that, we also have to love all of what God created. And so in that, in terms of really listening to having that conversation, to find that common core, that common principle, that common truth that is true within our tradition. And then that allows for a way open. Because Laudato Si is an encyclical of love. And in our tradition, we are called to evangelize the gospel. In the second chapter of Laudato Si is the gospel of creation. So essentially, we're bringing the truth of the church into the world. But I think the key is to listen. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
I would concur with everything that Michael had said, and I would simply add that the basic foundation of all Catholic social justice teaching is the dignity of the individual. Each individual human being has a human dignity which must be respected and fostered and loved. And part of the way that we love our fellow human beings is to provide care for them, and we provide care for them, through nature. So we have to care for nature as well.
Thank you. I would like to speak, and others can join me in this. One thing that's been very obvious about this Buddhist-Catholic dialogue from the very start is the lack of or shortage of the feminine voice. Over time, we have had Miao Chi from Venerable Huizer's temple with us, and we have Miriam with us. But we desperately need that voice, and it's a sense that I have of the need there. So I'd like to extend an invitation to women who would like to join us in this process, in this steering committee process, and to expand our awareness and our perspectives. And to add that, make sure that that's part of this ever-evolving prophetic voice. Anybody else like to join us on that?
Amen.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
It doesn't look like they're coming in through the Q&A. If anybody would like to send in any questions, we have some time to discuss. It just looks like there's a thank you from Mary, and noting that she's a Buddhist and a woman. And as Chuck said, if you want to email us at Buddhist-Catholic Dialogue at parliamentofreligions.org, we'd be happy to get involved and share some resources as well.
And one other piece, others have already submitted some videos, so those are posted. So you can go on and take a look at what people have done. And so it's all of you is welcome in terms of your contributing your video as well.
Absolutely. And I think I like to reiterate about voices. I mean, I think as we kind of, as a community and as a group, we kind of pursue this dialogue. If you find that there are voices in your own individual community or in your own individual life who you feel have either not been brought to through the table, or that they're not even sure that there's a table that we're creating here, young people, women, any other tradition that you feel would really be empowered by this discussion, we welcome it. And I think that's what this dialogue is. It's time to talk. It's now. It's who needs it, really.
Okay, folks. Thank you for joining us today. And I hope you find this inspiring, and I hope you're inspired to join in. And because we look forward to hearing you and participating through your videos and joining us in these dialogues. These will be monthly dialogues. They will take place on the last Tuesday of the month at 11 o'clock Central Time. So you'll be, as I said earlier, you'll be receiving invitations to join us in that process. So please take care, be safe.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.